There we go. It might help if I, unmute the microphone in the audio mixer on OBS. Hey, everyone. What is up? As you can see, I've got some chat going on. I literally spent the morning bashing out, trying out things here, there, everywhere until like 10 minutes before I went live. I got this working, and I was like, yes, let's go. Um, so, yeah, we had another little musical intro that I feel the need to explain it the first couple of times. Having the little test screen on there and playing some music helps me relax. The music choices are no joke. Music from North Korea, of all places. And it's really weird that for whatever reason, the primary composers in that country happen to write music that I find incredibly relaxing. Some of it oddly energizing as well, but for the most part, really takes the edge off of just the anxiety of getting ready to stream. And add in that that's how the state run television in the DPR case starts with the test card and the music playing. I thought it was just a fun little thing to add in, partly as prep time for me to test is audio working, is video working. Okay, we have a functional stream here, so I don't just go in blind. And then the added fact that it's just another little stab at the fucker you see on the screen. Good old 0645 2017, Kent Hovind himself. I was debating what to do for this stream. I originally had planned actually for this to be StreamYards. I was going to go at it, invite anyone in who wanted to join in, let it be a thing. And I couldn't quite get audio working on screen sharing. I was using Google Chrome. I double check, triple check stuff. Obviously missed whatever I was doing wrong, so I'll have to take a look back at that. Um, I guess you could say old man fails at internet, but a lot of this stuff doesn't act the way I would expect it to. The methods have changed on how you link this, that, and the other, and so it's just kind of alien to me. I'll figure it out though. I always do. But yeah, we've got chat on the screen, so you will see your comments appear on screen. Hopefully nobody says anything too stupid. I mean, that's what my job is. Y'all are supposed to be the smart ones. I'm the stupid one. Well, I'm the stupid one in this end of the conversation. The guy we're looking at on screen is the ultimate in stupid. Let's check out some of the comments real quick. Ambush Apostate giving a good old let's go. Phantom X11, hey yo. Let's see, people catching up. Stacy's in the chat, hey. Good morning. All right. Nothing super critical, but I say that like it's a bad thing. No, everyone's just partying, having fun. That's what this is about. That's what Film at 11 is. I mean, it's just a idiom that I took an attachment to and turned into a show because I didn't have a better title for this thing. Sacrilegious shitfest wouldn't fly on YouTube. So, without further ado, I guess we're going to go to our old friend 0645 2017. We're going to put this moron on 1.25 times speed. And this is about a 3-month old whacking atheist, Clint's reptile room. I jumped ahead a tiny bit just to see, and it looks like the Clint person is reacting to something from Joe Rogan's podcast. So this is like a nested hierarchy of batshit that should be pretty fun. You got our sane selves looking at this crazy person, looking at a video from a sane person from that of a crazy person. So it's back and forth. We got a ping pong here. Table tennis, let's go. I don't want to click play, but we got to do it. Let me know if there's anything going on wrong. I have my laptop here to look at the chat. Clint's Reptiles is not an atheist, though. There you go. That thing that constantly happens where Kent whacks atheists who aren't even atheists, who either don't self-identify, wouldn't be classified otherwise, or what have you. All because they don't believe the exact same bullshit he does. Also, good lord, I accidentally stared directly at Kent's neck. Ugh. God, that's grotesque. I know you can't help it, but God, it looks horrible. All right, enough of me over exaggerating. Let's do this.
Elephants. Pruitt Dynamite.
It He keeps remembering where I was. I decided I'd go on and start the beginning rather than jump ahead in case I missed something. Like I said, we're going at a 1.25 speed. If that's too fast for you, I apologize. I'm sure we'll have a moment where we can put him down to quarter speed and you can hear him say something stupid in a funny way. Putting off the inevitable. Let's go.
Elephants and the whales and the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama, June 19th, 2024. Tonight, Whack an Atheist, Clint from Clint's Reptiles gets it again. Clint, you should have quit after the last time. We'll teach it one more time, maybe. We're a Genesis Baptist Church, an old-fashioned, independent, temperamental, fundamental, right-wing, radical, chicken-eating Baptist church.
I'll slow it down after we get through his preamble here, because hearing him say that super fast was kind of funny.
In Lenox, Alabama.
You know what? I'm going to do what you're all thinking for just a moment. Let's see how this sounds.
From Clint's Reptiles gets it again. Clint, you should have quit after the last time. We'll teach it one more time, maybe. We're a Genesis Baptist Church, an old-fashioned, independent, temperamental, fundamental, right-wing, radical, chicken-eating Baptist church in Lenox.
Oh, I am easily amused. That was funny. It just becomes a slur of syllables. A slur, a blur, a slush, a something or other. English. I just make up things in it, I guess.
Alabama. We've given hundreds of tours, thousands of tours, actually. Come on down, visit. Yellow Jeep almost running again. Yay, with a new motor. Okay. We're straight north of Lenox. Pensacola, 70 miles in the town of Lenox. We think God ought to get the glory instead of the dumb evolution religion. Okay, tonight, Clint's Reptiles. Gonna get it again. Boot camp in a couple weeks. Come on down. Boot camp. I think our cabins are full, but you can come sleep on the floor, sleep in the, I don't know, sleep in your, wherever you want.
Yeah, I'd rather sleep in my own bed. Thank you, Kent. Come down to our boot camp. It's full, but, you can sleep on the floor wherever you want, Just stay on the compound, or else.
Cabins, okay. You can join our 777 club. So I like what you guys are doing. I'm going to support you. Help us stay open for free.
And now that Kent is shilled, of course, super chats are available. I would appreciate if you are so inclined and able. There's other ways to support, which I need to add those links in the description. I added some of the main links, but not my, hey, support my insanity links. So I should do that. But yeah, super chats are a thing. There I go shilling. Let's continue.
We've been open for 8 years for free. It hasn't been free, but it's been free to the visitors, and that's the goal. I'll get people where they can come and hear the gospel. If you want to help, go call Sandra, my wife, 855-BIG-DINO, extension 1. DrDino.com is our website. Boy, 8.19 years. We have a huge 3-phase air conditioning unit that was donated to us, and we don't have 3-phase. If you have a use for one, it's brand new, we'd like to get some money out of it so we can buy another Jeep.
Please tell me what kind of idiot who has access to an air conditioning system set up for full 3-phase electricity, why someone with access to that wouldn't be smart enough to check whether or not this gravel pit in the middle of fucking nowhere has 3-phase electricity. They barely have 1 fucking phase. And if you don't understand 3-phase electricity, actual electric power generation is done 3 times in the generators. So 3 phases of the rotation, those are tapped and spread out. If you look on power lines, a lot of the, you'll notice it's usually sets of 3 for the heaviest ones, or it'll be divisible by 3. That's all 3 phases. As it branches off, you end up getting 2 phases, single phases going down the line. That's a way to tell you're going out to the middle of nowhere, is if you see power lines and there's just single line runs on it, you know you're almost out of civilization because they only need to run the 1 phase. 3-phase being used in heavy industrial stuff, you get a lot more oomph, is the simplest way to put it. And, of course, that would be great for DAL being in the middle of fuckhole Alabama. If they ran piping right, they could cool a few cabins at once with that thing. You lose some stuff in the ductwork, but you could make it work. But, no, they just, get it donated and no one checks whether they can even operate the thing or not. It's just funny when you think about it.
There's all the details on it. 80,000 BTU input heating. I guess I don't know how to read how they measure air conditioning. I should look it up. Anyway, that's the unit right there. That's how evolution started. Don't walk away from me when I'm talking to
you. Boomer.
We are Genesis Baptist Church. Tonight, Whack an Atheist. It's a game we play around here. Atheist sticks their head up, says something crazy, and we whack them back down. I don't think Clint is an atheist, but he's...
Hey, Joe Friday, in the comments of this 3-month-old stream. Fuck you. Actually, no, not fuck you. I'm glad to not be normal if someone like Kent is your definition of normal. So piss off.
supporting the atheist.
Got him, yelling at people from 3 months ago. Time traveling. What you gonna do about it? Not shit. So there. Also, at least he acknowledged that I don't think Clint's an atheist, but he's still gonna put him on his damn show.
Cause. Shame on you, Clint. We'll talk about that in a minute. You wait till the whack-a-mole sticks his head up and you whack him back down. It's fast, it's fun, it's easy. The goal is
Michael, yeah, that would still be way too much. I mean, I'm just brainstorming here. Barnstorming. Just throwing ideas out here. You could seriously just let's see. Although I doubt any ducting DAO built would be compliant, though. Exactly. You'd mostly be cooling down rural Alabama, cooling the dust. There you go. Keeping the dust cool, so it doesn't raise up and get in everyone's sinuses and cause problems. The ton of dust every day that moves over DAL. I got to pave Pearl Lane. Orange Dusty.
to whack them down as fast as you can. Children learn it, adults love it. We wait for the atheist to stick his head up and say something not true, and we stop and say, guys, whack, that's not true, okay? Some have learned to keep their head down. Some take a while. You got to whack them a couple times before they get the message. I actually enjoy doing all this. So many atheists, so little time. Who gets whacked first? Well, tonight, the winner is Clint from Clint's Reptiles. We whacked him last March 6th, and he still doesn't get it. So maybe tonight's whack will help you. Clint, we're trying to wake you up. We'll see. in the show we're about to share with you, Clint, amid the shock and awe of his followers, claims that he believes in God. You can believe in evolution and believe in God. Thank you, Clint, okay? This may be true, but it's not the God of the Bible, that's for sure.
Yes, so Kent is an expert on someone's theological beliefs, because, of course, he's an expert on every fucking thing according to himself. What a fuckwit. Michael, I love how you're just going to town on all the specifics of the air conditioner. That's the reason I love you guys, is y'all will take something and you will drill down on it far better than I can off the cuff. And it's captured in the stream. At least, I hope it's still captured in the stream and something didn't break horribly. I'm going to check that real quick before we continue. Let's just press play here, tap live. How's my stream looking? Oh yeah, that looks like a quality amateur stream right there. Let's continue.
The God of the Bible said the plants and animals he created will always bring forth after their kind. Clint believes the silly family trees that all of our ancestors go back to a single-celled creature like an amoeba.
The two aren't technically exclusive via law of monophily. It just depends on what you call a kind, how you define kind. What are the attributes? As you bounce back, Kent, things get simpler. I mean, you're going to argue it's not simple, it's complex. And it's like, not in the way you're thinking. Oh, the Bible says 20 times it brings after its kind. Don't care.
The Bible says a whole bunch of times they will bring forth after their kind, after their kind, after their kind, after their kind of every sort. 20 times in the first 7 chapters. I think God's trying to get a message across. But Clint believes in these crazy families.
Is God also trying to get a message across when he tells us how to own slaves? When he talks about murdering everyone except, the women and the young ones who haven't known a man, quote unquote. Yeah. Really good messages there. Your God's a monster, and so are you, Kent.
Family trees. He believes the humans, the birds, dinosaurs, ladybugs, pine trees, worms, frogs, all had a common ancestor, like an amoeba. Don't you, Clint? The God of the Bible said the plants and animals would not change into different kinds, like these charts show. Clint does not believe the Bible.
The God of the Bible also doesn't change his mind, except he does. He's also just and righteous, yet also just punishes people infinitely for finite crimes. I mean, can't really take that shit seriously, Kent.
Believes protists turn into whales. Don't you, Clint? Okay? I apologize. My throat's been doing this for about 40 years. Amputation would cure it. And cure a back pain. Okay. Oh.
Michael doing a HVAC design. Yeah, that you definitely sounded. I don't know how to phrase it where it doesn't sound condescending. You definitely sounded like you knew what you were talking about. I know, obviously, some basics, but flying off the cuff and not knowing exact terminology, all I can do is crack jokes that hopefully sound halfway funny. So definitely appreciate your input on that. It'd honestly be cool to discuss. Like, I'm a nerd. It'd be cool to actually discuss, like, what would happen if they hook that unit up to, the 12 cabins they have. How much would it suck to be in those igloos?
All the many forms of life on Earth today are descended from a common ancestor, found in a population of primitive unicellular organisms. No traces of those events remain. Clint does not believe the Bible.
Yeah, Ken's basically constantly talking about Pokemon evolution, but when AJ pressed him in the open mic the other week, Ken's like, no, I never said it's one thing immediately becoming another thing, yet that is grammatically what he says. And if pressed to clarify, he goes to something even more absurd. It's constant doublespeak with this man.
Do you, Clint? You believe protists turned into whales. You believe this kind of propaganda in the books, don't you? And you teach it to others. Clint, I would probably agree with you that 18,000 varieties of butterfly might have had a common ancestor called a butterfly. He's been brainwashed to believe that butterflies and humans and dinosaurs and sharks have a common ancestor. That's dumb.
And you've been brainwashed to believe that a man can be made from dust, and then some magical sky daddy breathes into it, and then it just magically comes alive. It's a fucking Gollum spell. You know that, right, Kent? It's a goddamn old Hebrew, proto-Judaic Golem spell. And you just... that makes sense to you. You're fucking mental.
Humans, dinosaurs, sharks. Common ancestor. Clinton believes and teaches his gullible followers that all life forms have a common ancestor. The Bible clearly teaches that birds, animals, creeping things, and insects, fish, and whales always bring forth after their kind. Clinton, you may claim you believe in God, but you certainly don't believe in the God of the Bible. Okay? Butterflies, let's see, frogs, sunflowers, Olaria sharks came from a common ancestor. This is what the books are teaching the kids, Clint, and you're helping. Common ancestor baloney. Here we go. There's a place where they branched off. Some became bears and some became whales.
There's a joint. I wish I had a joint right now. I don't even smoke, but goddamn. This is my third Hovind video in like a couple of days. I shouldn't be doing this. Every time I say, I'm not going to do more Kent, I'm going to take a break from Kent, the week ends and I'm like, I had a hell of a week at work. I ought to relax by torturing myself listening to this moron ramble on forever. So that I can crack some stupid jokes, and you awesome people can watch, and I can have the joy of knowing that I entertained somebody. Because that's what it's all about. And as I have to stress repeatedly, and, this is a rant I should have got into before we got into the video, that Kent is a lolcow. He is something you milk for laughs on the internet. That's how it works. Fine tradition of lolcows, going back to up to and before Chris Chan. Hovind's followers, obviously, do not comprehend this. And it's wild the levels of cope they will push to just ignore us mocking this fucker the way we do. Because a lot of us have long given up on the scientific aspect because, one, there's no new ground to cover because he is demonstrably wrong in all facets. And two, it's not going to matter what you say. It doesn't matter to him. It doesn't matter to 95% of his followers or more. The occasional people who manage to fall out of his cult, they're the lucky ones. Otherwise, everyone else is too just into it to ever consider maybe he's the one lying. But then they'll, come on mine or AJ's channels, R and Ra's comments and the like, and just, ramble off bullshit like, you can't debate him, you can't. Reality isn't decided in debate. You're being a chicken. I do this stuff regularly. How am I a chicken? It's fucking wild. The grade school everything that goes on here. Just all of it. And I've been over that shit since grade school. So we're talking 30 fucking years I've been over that shit. Let's continue. Thanks for listening to my monologue.
That's not science. Here they branched off. Some became birds and rabbits and dinosaurs and humans and monkeys. Here's a common branch. Oh, look at that. The birds are related to the elephants and the whales and the butterflies.
Fuck, Matt Powell. Oh, man. I might just, as a bonus, I might just.
Am I right, Clint? You still believe in evolution. You believe you're related to a monkey, and you have not given up on evolution at all, have you, Clint? You still believe in it and teach others. Well, let's listen to a little bit of him talk here and see what he says. Get over here on this one.
Bingo, Michael. You can't beat Kent in a debate because he refuses to actually debate. He just shifts the topic back to his script and keeps going. Some of his slides are decades old at this point. About the only thing that's happened is it seems like they've updated them for widescreen. That's it. Because I was planning on doing one of his older videos pre-arrest, so it's 4:3 aspect ratio, and I think I saw an identical slide to one he's shown recently, and so he has updated it, but only just. Like, no other info has barely been changed. It's just reformatted. You know, so it's in a new format now. Instead of VHS, I got it on HD DVD now. I'm sorry, I just had the nightmare of thinking Kent Hovind seminars on the greatest format to ever fail. Well, that and Betamax, but Kent Hovind on Beta. Beta! Anyway, I would do Jesse Lee Peterson sometime, but I'd be too busy laughing at the idiocy to ever even be able to get indignant with his racism and just sheer hatred. Let's continue.
If evolution is real, and if there is this
Is
constant, I don't know, but it's visible. Like you can measure it in certain animals.
You can measure adaptation.
Yeah.
But there's no evidence that in fact, I think we've kind of given up on the idea of evolution. The theory
Oh god, it's fucker face. Ugh. Tucker Carlson, you fucking shit waste. I think Tucker Carlson is the quintessential douchebag. Just, I don't even need to explain. Just imagine his face in a dictionary under the listing douchebag. See Tucker Carlson.
theory of evolution as articulated by Darwin is like kind of not true.
In what sense?
Well, in the most basic sense, the idea that all life emerged from a single cell organism, and over time, and there would be a fossil record of that, and there's not. And
There's not a fossil record of transitionary species, like species that are adapting to its environment.
there's tons of record of
Right.
adaptation, and you see it in your own life. I mean, I have a lot of dogs. I see adaptation in dogs, through the
Sure.
Litter to litter. But no, there's no evidence at all that zero, that people evolve seamlessly from a single cell amoeba. No, there's not. There's no chain in the fossil record of that at all. And that's why you don't actually hear people. You hear them make reference to evolution because the theory of adaptation is clearly, obviously true. But Darwin's theory is totally. That's why it's still a theory almost 200 years later.
It's just a theory. God damn. I mean that's like point one. That's one of the first things to come up where you're dealing with somebody who doesn't comprehend science at all. And that from that point onward, nothing they say has any value. And as a kid, I knew what scientific theory meant. It was surprisingly well explained in our science textbooks. And keep in mind, that's 1990s in Tennessee. So, I was one of the lucky ones. So, to me, there's no excuse, especially in this age, for not knowing what a scientific theory actually is. So, I have no level of forgiveness for anyone who pulls the "it's just a theory." I no longer think they're misinformed. I think they're being outright intentionally deceptive. That they have been told better and know better, and they just don't want to learn. At which point, what do you do with them?
No, we have not found that at all. And I can't even guess. I mean, I have my own theories on it, but they're not proven.
What are your theories?
Well, God created people, distinctly, and animals. I mean, I think that's what every person on Earth thought until the mid 19th century, actually.
Right.
It's not a new idea.
Whew, there's a lot there. Well, hi there. My name is Clint Laidlaw. I'm an evolutionary biologist.
Clint, let me stop right there. That's an
This man.
oxymoron.
I'm sorry, I'm just needing to take a minute because just the boldness that Hovind has with this shit is incredible. What I would love to see, if it existed, is the body cam footage of his arrest for the tax evasion, of the entire process. Because it was documented for evidence sake. the raids, everything. So it's like whatever did actually happen. I would love to see that, just to see him sit there and try to lawyer up with all these officers of various government branches and the like coming in, doing their jobs. It would be some of the funniest shit. If only it had happened, in 2016 instead of 2006. But I digress.
like jumbo shrimp or military intelligence. Okay, there's no such
I'm Ken Hovind. I'm going to attack the military, but then I'm going to tell them that they can come down and I respect them. And they can come down and fish on my property for free because I'm Ken Hovind and I have everything. It is a fucking double standard. I talk out both sides of my neck vagina, Hovind.
thing as an evolutionary biologist. Biologists study life. Bio means life. Ology.
Yeah, exactly. 2006 body cams were not common at all. So the best we'd have is likely, post-raid footage of here is, Dinosaur Adventureland, here's whatever Cummings Road in situ, here's this, when we found this thing of these records, there's the time clock, all that jazz. Because it was a whole, methodical investigation, because that's how those kinds of things go, and it'd be beautiful to see the footage. Grab DVD number 5, the same DVD number 5 that's on YouTube that was the video I was originally going to take a look at here. They made sure to grab everyone, but nope, Kent kept the master copy. It was on U-matic, a shoddy old tape from 1972. Oh, and the evolution, Mr. Anderson versus Kent debates are absolutely amazing. And I did not know where he was going in the first one with the organism he was bringing up until he brought up actually said that it was cancer. That was a fuck yeah moment. Not in support of cancer. I fucking hate cancer. I've lost people due to cancer. Although, who the hell hasn't, sadly. But it's a matter of oh shit, he went to that level. He was able to articulate it the way he did. Build it up to where I didn't know where he was going with it. It didn't click. And then just the way it hit was amazing. And Ken's just like, so the cancer will just live, the arm just becomes another thing, what? Because that's all he can do. It's, as I say, it'd be pathetic if it weren't. It'd be funny if it wasn't so pathetic. Oh, what the hell, I'll laugh anyway. I got that from Batman animated series ages ago. I actually got it from another YouTuber using it as a regular clip of theirs, but yeah, it'd be funny if it weren't so pathetic.
Means the study of. Evolution is not part of science. You have mixed two things. You've mixed a religion called evolution in with science. You might be
Justin, Ateo, Kent hid master number 5 in his pants. He was rubbing it on his Hovind when the cops raided. Let's see. Ooh, and the debate between Kent and Steven Anderson. Mr. Anderson debates were good. Meant the debate between Kent and Steven Anderson. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I never saw those. Oh, man, I'll have to. Kent and Steven Anderson going at it. Oh, man, I'll have to check that out sometime. Oh, well, we're stuck on this for the moment.
you're really good at biology, Clint. I don't know. But you're mixing your religion in. Oh, I forgot to mention. Debbie Dijak got me a new Hawaiian shirt. Is that something or what? Yeah.
Oh, my God, who gives a fuck, Kent? All right, Ginger got me a new watch. You expect random interjections from something like what I do, what AJ does, because AJ inspired me heavily to do this. He's where I stole my format from. I'm just riding on his coattails because I'm Atheist Junior Junior. Caruso Tomato, Atheist Junior Junior, Harvard. Anyway, you expect random digressions because that's the nature of these things. That's the way these fun sort of hangouts are. But Kent is trying to make a point here. And this is like his most recent open mics. I did videos on both of them. At least the first section of the second one, before it went to the open mic proper, where he turned into a whacking atheist on Simon Dan, and the first one he spent bitching about his fake-ass degrees. Which, by the way, your degrees are bullshit, Kent. And it's not because it was a correspondence course, you fucking moron. That was part of what I was planning on doing today. If it was a StreamYard stream was good, was going into the detail on the accreditation and just, having a pleasant discussion on it with whomever might have called in, but But StreamYard wasn't going well for me for that, because, the audio problems and me losing my tech savvy edge. So, decided I'd go with this. See how much further we can get and maybe change things up, but so far I'm feeling pretty good. Wow, it is already 11:31. We're making terrible time. Let's continue.
Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate that. Okay. Anyway, Clint, I'm sorry. You guys are not defining some obvious terms that need to be defined in this discussion. What do you mean by evolution? And what do you mean by fossil record? There is no.
Well, my Hovind impression, it's funny because I don't always instinctively do Hovind per se, the AJ Hovind impression. Sometimes I just switch to another character voice that I have and just roll with it. It's just a quirk of my wiring. So you get all the random characters all the time. There's always a chance of somebody random going. So sometimes you'll get a Hovind. Sometimes you'll get that there country Hovind, that evolution just theory. Sometimes you get, I don't know. It's just me being me. This stuff being. It is stressful to live stream. It's stressful to record in real time. It's stressful to record pre-planned stuff. I don't know how I manage this, but whatever. Y'all are watching and having fun. But yeah, I am trying to work on the traditional Hovind a lot more, just to sharpen it up. Let's continue with the video, Hovind.
No such thing as a fossil record. There are fossils, trillions of them, but none of them talk and none of them have a date stamp on.
Fought over Kent's marriages. If Kent's marriages are biblical, the age of the earth, 6,000 versus 6,300 years. Unrelated, but according to flag code, you're not supposed to wear an American flag. Yes! I can't believe I didn't bring that up because that actually pisses me off far more than it should. Clothing with the flag on it in such a capacity is fucking ridiculous and against flag code. It's just, you claim to be patriotic, yet you disrespect the flag like that. What the fuck?
Somebody else is putting their interpretation on those fossils. And they're using the stupid geologic column to do it, which does not exist anywhere in the
Evolution.
world. How can the top layer be younger than the bottom layer? Where's it coming from? Outer space? Every layer of Earth in the world is the same age, whether it's 6,000 or 6 trillion. Here we go. If I flip this over, it'll make 10 or 20 different layers in here. Are they different ages? No.
Something I just want to point out. Randomly, when he brings up these stupid sand toys, actually, those things are cool, but when he brings them up, he's like, you can buy them at Walmart. Not only did I work at Walmart for a reasonable period in my mid-20s, but I still regularly shop at multiple locations. I have never once seen one of those in 15 plus years at a Walmart location. So no, Kent, you can't pick them up at Walmart. You kind of got to special order them from the eBay or the other internet locations where you can get those things. Because Walmart ain't selling them. Yeah, seeing flag shirts, ties all the time. And flag bikinis, it's more American than boobies. Fair. I'm not going to complain about mammoth memories. Oh God, I said it. All right. Yeah. Now that I've embarrassed myself more than usual, I forget what I was saying before I went on to a side tirade about Walmart and the sand toys. He was talking about the age of layers, and it's like, Kent, everyone's been over this 1,001 times with you. I'm not gonna repeat it. You're measuring the age of the object's formation. Otherwise, everything in the universe is the same age.
A grain of sand was put in here at the same time. Every speck of dirt in the universe is the same age, whether 6,000 or 6 trillion. There is no geologic column. We covered that in many other times. And there is no fossil record. There are fossils by the trillions, and they all formed in one big flood in the days of Noah. And they might have got sorted a little bit based upon...
And there is no record of the flood, Kent. No record of the flood. I just make shit up. Grand Canyon, Harvard.
On the tide going up and down, in and out, in and out. That would automatically sort them by body density in a hurry. So, no, there's no fossil record. I'm sorry. Anyway, he keeps talking about these terms. I'm sorry, Clint, I burst your bubble. You are not an evolution.
Yeah, Mr. Logo, his the experiments of stratification thing shows Jack Diddley against the actual geologic processes. It's funny when they debunk themselves, like he did with Peterson Wednesday. And what was it? Oh yeah, him telling that story about the duck trying to get it on with the turkey or something. defeating his whole, they know what to look for in a mate. They're never confused. It's like, obviously they are, Kent. He just ignores that completely.
Evolutionary biologist. You may be an evolutionist, and you may also be a biologist, but the two do not go together. Sorry, okay?
Study evolutionary ecology, particularly life history evolution and evolution acceptance through teaching. I also
Wait. Evolution acceptance through teaching. In other words, if you teach it long enough, the kids will accept it.
Well, given there's a massive movement to reject it and a massive movement in general to deny science and reality, it is a fair description, but you're going to nitpick. Which is funny, because that would be something that apes do, is pick for things on their, tribe mates. Well, we'll use that phrasing. They're group buddies. Picking for nits. Huh. Makes you think.
Right? Well, a lot of Germans accepted Hitler as the greatest guy in the world, didn't they? 55 million of them. Didn't make it true. A lot of people have accepted the guy in Korea with the funny haircut as the supreme emperor.
believe in God. And a few months ago, we released our first video responding to creationist arguments against evolution, and I was shocked by the responses. Overall, I was pleasantly surprised. Honestly, we received a lot of positive feedback from atheists to young earth creationists and pretty much everyone in between. It was what I hoped for, but it certainly wasn't what you always see online. And I was so thankful for all of your encouraging feedback. I really did want to model a better way of interacting with people that disagree with you. And I was so happy to see that that is what came through. I think this world could use a little more understanding and a little less hostility. But not all of the responses were positive. I was surprised that in a video that
Oh, yeah, accepting Kent as a nice holy man, that's how they get you, Every single person running any kind of ministry is supposed to be godly and good. They know the Bible. They're good people. They can't be bad people. And then they invariably turn out to be absolute fucking scum. It's almost as if there's some kind of connection between religiosity, trying to become a bigwig in that sphere, and using it to hide how absolutely horrible you are. And of course, money.
devotes more than half an hour to addressing common misconceptions held by young earth creationists. A video that made me the target of a Kent Hovind Whack an Atheist video less than a week after its release. That some of the most hostile responses came from atheists, who I assume are the usual recipients of Kent Hovind's whacks, and all because of one sentence that I've already repeated in this video. But the truth is that I really loved these comments because they perfectly illustrated why I needed to tell you that. And I'll get to that in a moment, but right now, I think we better talk about the clip we just watched. There is a lot there. So this was Tucker Carlson in a
I don't know, dude, that little bit right there, dude, gave weird, like, Shia LaBeouf vibes. Yeah, not saying anything good or bad about it, it's just, it kind of looks similar there.
recent interview that he did with Joe Rogan. Tucker Carlson is, as far as I know, not a major creationist thought leader, but it does sound like he is a creationist based on these statements. He starts off by questioning that evolution is real, but admits that adaptation is real and
Let me explain it to you, Clint, real carefully. Animals can adapt to their environment within limits.
Hovind found his key words. He's been triggered. Triggered Hovind.
If you turned all the dogs in the world loose in Alaska, only those with thick fur would survive the first winter. And eventually, you'd have a whole population of animals with thick fur. The cold winter did not create the fur. It did not create the thick fur. Some dogs already have thick fur. Already. So adaptation, they can learn.
I wonder if Kent thinks woolly mammoths were just regular old elephants that happen to have long hair. I legit wonder that. I should ask him. But I don't feel like talking to him again. I talked to him once. I was nice. I had a point to prove. I proved it. Unless he's willing to pay $20 an hour, I ain't talking to him.
To get used to the cold or learn to get used to the heat within limits. Do you think they'll ever learn to get used to 5,000 below zero? Or how about 5,000 degrees above zero? Do you think they'll ever get used to
Kent, you're supposed to have taught science and math for 15 years. You would think you would have an internal filter to not say some stupid thing like 5,000 below when that's not a temperature that can be reached. It's not how the scales work. Now you can't see my face. I'm doing that weird grin of like trying to hold back, just screaming you dense motherfucker to a point where everyone within a mile hears me. I mean, that's exaggeration, but seriously, it's this guy just waiting for them keywords and going to town.
To that? No. There are limits. You guys do not understand or do not admit, yes, variations happen within the kind, but they're limited. They've been trying to get bigger and bigger cows for a long time. Do you think they'll ever get a cow as big as Texas? They've been trying to get faster dogs. Don't they have dog races where people bet money and all that? Greyhound races? Do you think they'll ever get a dog go 500 miles an hour? Do you think there's a limit, Clint? Can you understand what I'm trying to say? There are variations, but they're limited and they're already in the gene code.
And everything is a limit of physics and not necessarily biology. Come on, Kent. Come the fuck on. Grow up, Kent. That's what you need to do. You're 71 years old. Grow the fuck up. Talk like an adult. Act like an adult. Debate like an adult. Have some fucking sense. Have some fucking decency. To not treat your interoculars like they're fucking idiotic kindergartners. You disrespectful piece of shit.
They're selecting something. Natural selection works. Artificial selection works, but it selects. It doesn't create anything. You guys don't get it.
Someone should have artificially selected this guy out of the gene pool, if you know what I mean. Ooh, controversial thoughts. I'm not saying anything. It's just a joke. Relax.
I'm trying to help you now, okay?
Measurable. And suggest that we've
Right, he only knows how to talk to someone on his level.
essentially given up on Darwin's account of evolution. He suggests
And even then, sometimes I think he's still punching upwards. He just doesn't realize it.
there should be a fossil record of evolution, but there isn't. Though there is lots of evidence of adaptation in the fossil record.
That is logically impossible. When you find a fossil, you don't know that it's adapting to anything. You don't know it had any children at all. When you find fossils, all you know is it died. There is no evidence of a fossil record showing animals adapting. If you find an animal, a fossil in the dirt, in the rock, or
A fossil in the dirt? Hang on, here we go. Ah, no, dang it! Dang it! I always hit the wrong gear. Because I got this little YouTube extension that helps with some stuff. And then I always click that gear instead of the one I want to click. Dagnabbit. Here we go. Let's laugh a bit where he says the Bert.
of a fossil record showing animals adapting. If you find an animal, a fossil in the dirt on the
If you find an animal, the fossil in the Bert. Limits don't prove a creator. Even with a creator, there would be limits. Iron Rod pointed out that a reptile the size of Godzilla is not possible. Exactly. Just because you could make it doesn't mean it would work.
and the rock.
And, you know, that's something. There's a little sci-fi project I've been working on, right? And I promise this gets to a point. Well, I used to really like anime. I enjoy mecha and the like. In my sci-fi project, I was gonna have mecha because, of course, you gotta have fucking mechs. I was imagining, upper scale Ed 209s being piloted like tanks. Typical. That would be the evolution of tanks as this walking mech. And then I looked into it more and saw just how, in practice, how terrible such a walker actually is versus the traditional tank. And I'm like, fuck this. If it sucks to build, I don't want it in my damn story. I want it to have been in a project that maybe they tried and they were like, no, this sucks. And so it's not written in. I took that aspect out, which was originally the whole key thing when I started this story project in high school. Yes, I've been working on these things for years. You really think I would have wrote something by now. But if it's impractical, I threw the idea out. I want it to be a little more realistic. It's like, just because you can create something, just because we can make, theoretically, a big-ass battle mech, doesn't mean we should. It's not related to biology, but it is to the whole idea of you can make something, but that might not make it good.
Dirt. All you know.
God, I forgot I had him on slow speed and was like, what the hell is going on? Oh, fuck. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take just a moment, and I'm going to find another video because I'm already bored of this one. So give me just a moment here.
If you ever
Okay, there we go. I thought I'd pull up DVD number 5 for a moment. Dangers of Evolution. Now, this is the full length 3-hour monstrosity. We're obviously not making it through there. Becca run on the rule of cool. I'm fine with that. Yeah, seriously. Now, I did have the idea of what matches more with a bit of our modern planning ideas of human scale automata. Maybe something a little larger, up to like an Ed 209 size and style, possibly human pilotable, but a massive, 50-foot vertical tank, a freaking Gundam? Nah, just nah. And it allowed me to focus more on cool, like, future jets with sci-fi propulsion and, other things. Because, I can bend reality there, but walking mecha that are able to be actually be supported on the ground, not sink into the ground, and are not inherently unstable. That's too much for my crazy sci-fi story. No Wing Zero, sadly. Yeah, and that was the inspiration, was Gundam Wing when it dropped on Toonami. That was the point in high school where I started coming up with this idea. Um, it is what it is, though. It's really kind of split into two ideas. So one I could still take in that direction, but I was going to say we're not here for my random stories, but that is totally why we're here. Aw, it just hit me that you're all here because of me. And not because of Kent. Ah, eat a dick, Hovend. Right, this is DVD number 5. We're just going to get started on a bit of it and just see where it takes us.
People say evolution is not a bad philosophy. But at the same time, it was Hitler's religion during the Third Reich in Germany.
I didn't see that coming. I did not see that coming at all. Also, I feel like it was a different video that I was watching earlier, so, huh. Well, that one also brought up Hitler within the first, 10 seconds, but, yeah, we literally made it 10 seconds in, and Godwin's Law has been completely broken. The document it was framed in, the frame, has been broken. Godwin's Law document has been pulled out. It has promptly been shit upon, flipped over, shit upon again, then pissed on, then shit on yet again, and then put back into its busted up frame. Because,
Hi, my name is Eric. In this next...
God, I know, right? Timothy McVeigh, he totally looks like him. I thought I was the only one.
And our Dr. Hovind exposes some of the terrible things that have been done in the name of evolution. Because dictators throughout time have used the evolutionary ideas to support their brutal tactics.
Hey, it wasn't a U-Haul, it was a Ryder truck. There's an interesting photo when the Alfred P. Murrah building was finally demolished. A photo was taken from a slight distance, and there happens to be a Ryder truck on the highway as the building is being demolished, in a very dark bit of symbolism that I find quite beautiful. I mean, it's horrible to be a reminder of, but, I'm a big fan of symbolism, and yeah, it just makes you think. If I ever get to Oklahoma, that's actually my main reason I want to go to Oklahoma City, is to go visit the Memorial Park. I have a whole list of places where things have happened that I want to visit and pay respects. Oddly enough, a lot of them religiously motivated. Not all of them, but a lot of them usually have a dark connection somewhere into theology. One, which I've already been to, doesn't. I might tell that story sometime, but I'll just leave you guessing on what random spot in the continental United States I was in or I was at sometime in the past few years and was able to check out with my own eyes. It's not there anymore, but the location still exists, you know. Because you can't just make a spot on the earth disappear. So, take a wild guess in the comments on what city I was in and what I went to go visit. Dangers of evolution. God, this has so much late 90s, early 2000s edge. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, it's actually oddly comforting to see, but like at the same way disturbing because it's Hovind.
I taught high school science for 15 years, and now for 14 years I've been an evangelist traveling and doing seminars on creation, evolution, and dinosaurs. And tonight we're going to share with you some of the dangers.
I'll give you a hint. When this was recorded, I was in my senior year of high school. It's right at the tail end. That's just a hint to how old I am, which I totally, say openly. I'm going to be 40 in January. Feel old. So old. No, I wasn't in New York, nor was it the Georgia Guidestones. Good guesses, and of course, New York is definitely a place I want to visit for many reasons. One very obvious. No. Keep on guessing though. I enjoy the game. Someone just guesses the right city. Just a big city, but not a super big city. Somewhere in the United States.
Of this evolution theory. I don't leave my gorgeous wife and travel every week of the year because I like.
Yes, I thought that was one of the Columbine shooters, Eric Harris or Dylan Klebold. Those guys were pretty fucked up. Didn't get the help they really needed. Them being fucked up was the catalyst for what happened. But of course, Kent's going to put it on evolution. Just because you gotta scapegoat everything. It can't just be people being people. There always has to be some motive behind it. That shit's complicated, and having grown up when I did, going into high school right after that happened, I don't know, it did a little damage. A little damage, not much, but got a strong emotional connection to that event. Even though I haven't been there. And that's another place I want to go visit is the memorial for Columbine. So that's another one you can scratch off that I haven't been able to visit.
Like being gone. Folks, evolution is not just a dumb idea, it's a very dangerous philosophy.
40 is the new 20. Shit your damn mouth. Oh, is this the same shit that was wiped over Godwin's Law earlier by Eric? That was what the Nazis did. It was evolution. That's why the Nazis did stuff. Even though they had obviously Christian roots, and I've watched things that go both ways on go both ways on whether or not evil Austrian mustache man was religious or not in a practical sense versus just a label sense, and I can see it both ways, and I look at it as simply as time passed on he went more crazy and the religious aspects became irrelevant.
I've only got 3 things I want to cover, but it's probably going to take several nights.
Yeah, first school shooting being in 1840. I need to look into that because I didn't know it was that far back, but I knew it was the 1800s. I forget when exactly it was and where it was that this one faculty member like blew up part of the school in like the 20s, maybe the late 1910s. It was a horrible thing, and people talk about today being so horrible, and it's like you had weird shit happening in the 19 teens. Stuff way worse. But we eventually forget about it. At least we did in that era. Now, not so much. Thankfully. But, I don't know where I was going with that. And man, this live stream got dark. I mean, it just hit me like we're deep in the trenches of this is uncomfortable territory, even for me. Let's laugh at Hovind. Oh wait, he's not a joke. He's actually a problem.
To do that. First of all, I want to tell you what on earth is happening. And secondly, why is the evolution theory dangerous? And what do you do about it? Pretty simple. Okay.
Number one, life. Shit's happening. Two, evolution being dangerous? It's not. Crazy people are dangerous. Evolution isn't. Three, what to do? I don't know. Stay calm and keep calm and carry on. It's got to be good for something aside from basic girls, putting it on everything. Keep calm and carry on. And it's like, fuck you. Sorry, I'm having a moment here.
What is happening? Tonight, as I speak, our president is announcing we're about to go blow up.
Hey, it's Nubifier. Don't worry. You just missed Hovind. I've got everyone playing a game currently. Yeah, sometimes biology books are heavy. That's where evolution can be dangerous. That was my thickest book in my junior year of high school, which I got a story about that I'll tell you here in just a moment. I think I've mentioned it before, but yeah. I was going to say, Nubifier, everyone's playing a game of what piece of dark American history or what event in American history that is considered a dark event, newsworthy, what event / place was it that I visited sometime in the past couple of years? The laptop went dark. That's weird. My laptop's against me. That's how I'm looking at the chat. Because all I see is Hovind. So yeah, playing a little game on that. It was a moderate-sized American city. It was on the eastern half, so it isn't anything in the west coast. So like anywhere past Oklahoma City, which I already mentioned is someplace I want to go, definitely not. Never been out that way. Furthest I've been out west is Austin, Texas. Been by Waco, but not to Waco proper. But right, more Hovind for the moment.
Iraq, I believe, right? The world seems to be coming unglued at the seams. There are wars and rumors of wars every place we look. Why on earth would Joseph Stalin order the execution of 14,700 Polish prisoner of war officers?
Fuck are these drawings? I wonder who did these drawings for him, because he doesn't use them anymore, but it's the same style. Like the one of him with the super chiseled looks at the museum was done by like the same artist. So this is early 2003, right before the Iraq War happened. We were already in Afghanistan for year and a half, 2 years after 9/11. And notice he's saying what's going on? Everything's going crazy. There's wars and rumors of wars. And then, we're 21 years removed from this. This is 21 and a half years ago. Is this presentation? If someone was born during this presentation, they'd be old enough to drink legally in the United States now. This is a fine example of people always religious, the doomsday people, so Christians basically, because it's a death cult, them obsessing over wars and rumors of wars, and it's like, yeah, that was 20 years ago, and look how it panned out. Middle East just went back to being an unstable, chaotic land like it has been since basically World War I. I mean, shit's been constantly happening. Like, if there's been people, we've been fighting each other. We've been finding reasons. It's not anything special.
I thought there was a Geneva Convention. Why do you order the execution of prisoners of war? Why did Hitler order the execution of nearly 6 million Jews, plus others?
Japan, nope, although I definitely want to visit Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and Hashima Island, also called Gukunjima. I know I just said Hashima Island, so I just said something Island. I forget what the Hashi part is, but regardless, that place is pretty cool. So yeah, not Hiroshima, not Virginia Tech. No. You're in the same range. It's not shooting related. Firearms were not involved in this.
Why did Pol Pot, the leader in the Cambodian Khmer Rouge, order the execution of 1/3 to 1/2 of his entire population, his own people?
Okay, so Pol Pot was This is him going obsessing over communism being so horrible. Pol Pot was an absolute fucking monster. He ranks up there with Reinhard Heydrich in the scale of people that I think were truly beyond evil. His entire methodology was, oddly enough, kind of like Stalin's. A very you're going to survive or not thing. You're going to go in line or not. Because they were authoritarian. Now, it happened to be that Soviet style communism, as it spread, was also very authoritarian by its nature. So naturally, these groups spawned from Soviet influence, especially Stalinist Soviet influence. So, countries like, or groups like the Khmer Rouge, like North Korea, like Vietnam and the like. Lesser so for Vietnam, but Pol Pot and his group certainly went Stalinist with it. And they all had, Stalin and Brezhnev era influences. Yeah, they're gonna be pretty damn horrible because they're authoritarian fucking monsters. It's just how it works. It's not the communism that's the problem. Although, it obviously wasn't executed very well, and likely wouldn't work at the large scales of the Soviet Union and the like for that long. But we're not here for an economics debate. It's a matter of principle that these were totalitarian hellholes, regardless of overall command economy structures and the way people live their lives. The same kind of authoritarian hell is what the right wing in America wants right now, the far right, the MAGA. And people are rooting for that. Because it's not veiled under godless communism. But it's the same kind of nightmarish, discriminatory, purge-laden hell. And we know this from the kinds of shit that Kent says, that people like Matt Powell says, well, the government's job to do the humane putting to death. Don't get me started. I can articulate this in written word. I can't do it in a live stream, articulate what I think and what I feel. God, this has gotten way too dark. Way too dark.
He killed him. Why? Why would somebody do that? Why would the Australian Aborigines be rounded up like cows and shot so their heads could be put in museums?
Because fucking racism? Because fucking colonialism? Because fucking Australia? I mean, you're just gonna blame evolution, Kent. You're gonna think that's the cause of everything, as if no one's ever done anything bad because of religion.
Years ago. Why would somebody do that? Why did Kip Kinkle murder his parents?
Michael Lynn articulating it very well. Totalitarianism tends to lead to the mass execution. Not the economic/religious stance, but theocracies tend to have to slide into authoritarianism to maintain their control. Good job. That's a good job. Like, you get a gold star. No, that's pretty damn nice summary. Totally agree on that.
2 other classmates and shoot 26 other ones. Why would a student do that? Kip said, if there was a God, he wouldn't let me feel the way I do. There is no God, only hate. On May 21st, 1998, 15-year-old Kip Kinkle.
Man, that's a name I've not heard in a long time. That unlocks some weird memories.
Student at Thurston High School, that's in Oregon, near Eugene, allegedly entered the school cafeteria and fired more than 50 rounds from a semi-automatic rifle. 26 students were injured, 2 killed. Later, the bodies of his parents were found in his home. He was then arrested and taken to a police headquarters where he attempted to murder a detective during his questioning. Kip said, if there was a God, he wouldn't let me feel the way I do. There's no God, only hate. Why have we had nearly a 1,000% increase in violent crimes since I was a boy? I remember the...
I call bullshit. I mean, I say that like it's, not obviously bullshit. We actually live in probably the safest time all around for anyone to be alive. Per capita anyway, when you do the math. Here's his phone number. His old phone number. Don't go to 29 Cummings Road. Cummings. Trying to find Dr. Dino. That place is like a construction company now.
Days when you did not have to lock your house. We'd go off on.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we got Tyler in the chat. SWAT team's gonna break through my door any moment. Playing Unlawful DVD number 5. Oh man, if I could sneakily queue up that audio clip and in the stream just all of a sudden, that'd be funny. Oh man. Oh well. Maybe one day I'll have one of those little decks that they got that like play different sounds and stuff, and you just tap the button and away it goes. They're like $200 just for some buttons, but they're kind of cool. That'd be cool. I mean, I guess I could probably set something up with the number pad here and just set up a soundboard, but I'm lazy. And also apparently losing my tech savviness. So, I'll start watching Fox News, hike my pants up above my nipples, and complain about kids on my lawn, any day now. I'm just kidding. I complained about kids on my lawn when I was 20.
On vacation for 2 weeks. Wouldn't even. I never had a key to my house growing up. Never did have a key. I don't know if it even had one.
In the U.S. at least, crime has been on the decline since the 90s. Exactly.
You didn't need one in those days. Why would there be such a horrendous increase in unwed birth rates? And so much of our moral structure is just simply unraveling. What on earth is happening?
Hey, those unwed births and they happened back in the day too. And they just send the kid off somewhere or lie and say that it's not their daughter, but, oh, this little baby's your sister, or just come up with something crazy to cover it up. Now, we're at least accepting of, life happens. But you see that as horrible. Of course, at this point, you were still married to your first wife. And, you didn't know what was to come, but, that's how life goes, Kent.
Dylan and Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold made a videotape prior to the Columbine shootings. On that tape, they said, talking about one of the football players, he doesn't deserve the jaw evolution gave him. Look for his jaw. It won't be on his body.
Yeah. And those guys were full of hate. For multiple reasons. You're not going to focus on what caused them to be just as tired of things as they were, whether rightfully or wrongly. Growing up in a nice area of Colorado, they had pretty good lives, access to money. They played Doom all the time. I wasn't playing Doom in 1999. I didn't have a fucking computer. I wasn't lucky enough to have that kind of shit, man. But something else was very, very wrong, and it never got addressed. And instead of looking at how the system failed these people, you're just going to blame a scientific fact. Because occasionally someone may make reference to it within their own dark, twisted perspective of things. What the fuck, Kent? I know I sound surprised. I shouldn't. It's just hearing him say these things, because he doesn't say them anymore, because he knows if he talks about shit like this on YouTube, his ass is grass. It's just fucking weird. And thinking that he was doing this, again, when I was at the tail end of high school. There's a probable chance that people I was around in high school, because even though it's Memphis, it's still, a bigger city, it's still heavily religious population. They probably may have watched this very seminar. It's disturbing.
These two boys were very strong believers in evolution. They did the shooting on Hitler's birthday on purpose. They shot Isaiah Shoals just simply because he was black. They shot Cassie just because she believed in God. Same thing with Rachel.
Oh, that is a myth. The whole asking Cassia Barnell, do you believe in God? It became a cool song by Flyleaf, which is the only song of theirs I'd like. It just kind of was cool. But that thing's a myth. The question was reported to have been asked to somebody else in some context, and they got mixed up with her. Sorry, I'm having a moment here. I have to carefully tread Columbine because I have the emotional attachment to it, with it having happened right before I went to high school. I've studied up on these people, their lives. It's been a few years, so I'm a little rusty, but there's a website, acolumbinesite.com. Been up since day one. It's a beautiful place to get info, be factually or just info on the people, the individuals, news that still relates to it, because there's still Columbine news after all these years. Yeah. Sorry, this has just kind of got me a little upset. But yeah.
What happened? Why would somebody do this? What's going on in our thinking? Well, the newspaper article in Columbine High School said, the clothes may give a clue to the thinking of these teenagers. The autopsy said one of the boys' shirts said natural selection on the front. Interesting. Textbooks used in Escambia County, Florida, this textbook, says evolution and natural selection go together. This textbook says natural selection causes evolution. Well, just what is this natural selection?
Okay, sorry, that pause there was me about to say something, but I had to double check myself because, again, memory's a little rusty on stuff. They want to bring up Hitler a lot since the Columbine shooting happened to happen on April 20th, but it was originally planned for April 19th, that Monday, and I forget the exact reason, but they aborted and planned it for the next day, so it just happened to coincide. But there's no evidence that it was explicitly planned for Hitler's birthday, as far as I've seen.
Oh, you see, Adolf Hitler thought he would speed up the process by eliminating the inferiors. Hitler honestly thought he was doing the world a favor. So did Joseph Stalin. So did Pol Pot. Why do people do these things? So what is wrong with our thinking?
Yeah, so did Jim Jones. So did David Koresh. A lot of people think they're doing good, Kent, and they do horrible things. It takes a horrible person alone to do something by themselves, but it takes a special kind of person to do horrible things for a deity. And there's plenty who have done that.
Right after the Columbine shooting, almost instantaneously, 5 more students from within the Springfield School District were arrested for threatening to murder students, principals, or teachers. In the adjacent school districts, more students were arrested for violent threats, and in one case, an elementary school boy shot 5 of his classmates with a BB gun. Could it possibly be that what we're teaching them is causing this behavior?
Could it possibly be that rampant access to firearms and people not getting the mental health help they need could be a problem? No, Kent, that's not a problem to Kent's eyes. No. People are all fine. There's no problems there. It's just they get taught this evil evolution, and that's why they go crazy. It's not because, a million and one other things. But of course, can't simultaneously thinks that creatures can't change, that, things that, like, humanity doesn't change, but yet we're also these fallen creatures and defective now. So you would think he would see these mental health problems as a side effect of the fall, but he can't rationalize that.
What you believe determines how you behave.
Oh yes, good point, the Spanish Inquisition.
If you're raised up in a head-hunting society, and you're taught from the time you're a boy, if you go off to war and shoot somebody, you ought to kill him and cut off his head and eat the brains because you get his spirit. I mean, if you really believe that, guess what you're going to do when you go off to war?
Wait, I was reading comments. What the hell was he talking about with brains?
You're taught from the time you're a boy, if you go off to war and shoot somebody, you ought to kill him and cut off his head and eat the brains because you get his spirit. I mean, if you really believe that.
Okay, some ancient tribal stuff, yeah. Tell me again about them foreskins, Kent? You're supposed to go and cut them off or something? Just saying.
Guess what you're going to do when you go off to war? Your behavior is determined by your beliefs. What you believe determines how you behave. It's always been that way, and it's no different today.
Yes, and I believe in trying to be as good to other people as possible. Response, Kent? I mean, I know this is a 21-year-old video, so you won't have a response, but that's as far as it goes. That's the sum of it. Try to be good. And what's good? It's subjective. Depends on the situation, but, try not to cause harm to others. You know, that whole golden rule concept seems to work out pretty well. You can't always follow it, but just the principle of it seems to cover everything. But Kent thinks it's impossible to be good without God. You know, the same entity that murdered everything on the planet. You know, why'd the penguins have to die? Why'd the puffins have to die, Kent? Why'd the cute little kitties in Africa? Did the baby cheetahs need to die? Because Sodom and Gomorrah were busy fucking each other? Or what the hell ever that was going on? I mean, come on, Kent. You just take a step back and look at this stuff. It's fucking insanity. And this is his leveraging tool the terror tactic he uses to get parents to really crack down on any kids learning any actual science. He obviously, again, doesn't push this now because it's too controversial for YouTube and the like. But this was his primary go-to. Was, I've got to make everything seem as horrible as possible. Because that's what they always do in churches. They make anything that isn't of God pure evil. When it could just be the way the world works. It could just be something someone enjoys. Halloween could just be a fun, slightly scary holiday. You know, you don't have to read that deep into it, but you do.
Could it be that this evolution theory is to blame? This textbook says you're an animal and share a common heritage with earthworms. Question: if evolution is true, how are the kids supposed to tell right from wrong? I spoke in a public...
This biological phenomena that developed in the brain's called empathy. Hey, it hurts if I get punched. I probably shouldn't punch other people. Hey, it hurts if I cut myself. I probably should try to avoid cutting other people. Hey, I feel bad if someone takes my toy. I shouldn't take other people's toys. You know, we learn it as kids. It's part of being a social species. And sometimes that part of a person's brain is a little messed up. And that's when you wind up with people like Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. And it really should be addressed. And most of the time it isn't properly, mostly because our healthcare system is completely fucked. Good portion of that absolute fuckage going on is from your side of the socio-political spectrum, economic socio-political spectrum, Kent. Words, I can use them eventually. So quit bitching. Fucker.
Public school in Pennsylvania one time, a kid sat on the second row and he said, "Mr. Hovind, I'm an atheist." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yep, there is no God." I said, "Well, tell me, son, are you sure?" He said, "Yep, I'm sure." I said, "Well, son, do you know everything?"
Oh, here we go. The do you know everything. Oh, and this is also a conversation that never happened, Kent.
He said, "No." I said, "Do you know maybe half of everything?" He said, "No." I said, "Okay, well, let's just pretend that you know half of everything. Is it possible that God exists in the other half you don't know?" Brand new thought.
Look at that smug ass piece of shit grin on his face. I got him there.
Rattled around in his brain for a while and got lost, I believe. I said, "By the way, son, if there's no God, how do you tell right from wrong?" He said, "Oh, that's easy." He said,
Good quote from, or comment from Michael. Authoritarian bents, such as those stemming from religion, tend to have to rely on fear. That and, body slamming your wife.
"I determine what's right and wrong." He said, "I'm the God of my own universe." I said, "I'm glad to hear about that, son, because I'm going to shoot you in 5 minutes."
The fuck kind of response is that? I don't get why everyone in that room didn't just get up and walk out. Because I get that he's trying to make a point, but that's not something you would say. Like, again, this conversation is bullshit anyway. It didn't happen. But just the idea that that's the way he would respond to somebody, that he would bring that kind of concept up to try to prove a point. Fucking nightmarish. Kent is fucking mental. Whew. Man, oh man. Alright, so I'm going to take a small moment, take a small break. Gonna put us back on something or other, have a little music playing, then I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Just needed a moment there. Um, Decided we break off. How long have we been going for anyway? An hour and a half. Okay. Decided we break off. Maybe just take a look at Matt Powell because it got brought up earlier. Give old Matty Powell Cupcake a look. Uh, Petitioning to trend is, let's just see. What do we want to look at? I'll give the chat a minute. If anyone has any suggestion, definitely let me know. I mean, we got stuff on the whole Pastor Steven Anderson drama, but I'm not paying that much attention to that at the moment. We could hit reacting to Bill Nye's lies. That might be fun. Christian debate showdown. 4 atheists, 1 Christian. That might be fun to look at later. Who hates the name of Jesus Christ? So many video. God, I forgot about how much of a sheer day drinking to the old pal. Yeah, I forgot how much of a sheer scumbag Matt Powell was. And just, I still want to know what was up with him staying with Hovind for the time he did. That was so weird. But, let's see. Powell, his movies with AJ Grayson, etc. You know what? Let's hit reacting to Bill Nye's lies. Let's just see.
Once in a while, I get people that really, that claim they don't believe in evolution. And my response generally is, why not? Really, why not?
Because evolution asserts that we all descended from fish.
What the fuck have you been doing, Matt? Okay, see, Matt would want to give AJ shit for the fact that AJ puts on light amounts of makeup before he will go on stream. He'll make sure he looks decent. That's so that he doesn't look like this. You could have done a lot to solve that, Matt. Oh my god. Yeah, ad hom, blah blah blah. No, it has nothing to do with his arguments. It has everything to do with the fact that he looks like a damn clown. Also, I love the cheap-ass Walmart lamp. Hell yeah. And it looks about like the same kind of blue bulb like I have. Yeah. And that depth of field, they probably spent like $500 on that camera. From the guy who spent like $30 on his microphone. But, Four atheists on 1 Christian. You think they'll have that kind of content on YouTube? Yeah. That might be fun to watch down the line, though. But let's get back to what Matty Powell Cupcake has to say and Professor Peel.
Really, why not?
Because evolution asserts that we all descended from fish. There is no evidence to support such a claim.
And if you dumb things down to just that, yeah, there's plenty to support it. But again, you're doing the same thing that Hovind does, and just saying it's ridiculous, and making a ridiculous statement about the fact, just to make it seem strange to the average person.
We descended from Adam and Eve, 2 humans, not fish. We've even discovered remains of humans that existed thousands of years ago, and we've found that they were much more fit than humans are today.
Yeah, people living 6,000 years ago before the cushy-ass lives we have now. Yeah, I'm gonna imagine they were probably pretty damn fit, given 1, you were lucky to live past 30, 2, you spent most of your time outside either toiling the dirt or hunting for food, or doing some sort of heavy, hardcore-ass manual labor. And, those are actually the 2 key things. I don't know what the 3rd thing was gonna be, but, yeah. Come on. The fuck?
What that means is that we are devolving. We started out with a good set of genetics at the beginning, and we have degraded since.
No, Matt, that's not at all what it says.
Your world just becomes fantastically complicated when you don't believe in evolution.
What part of believing that we descended from apes makes our worldview less complicated?
He says descended from apes as he moves his hands around. Has hair slash fur covering his body, even if it's diminished, has the downward nostrils, has the hands and the opposable phalange, the thumb, has all the diagnostic characteristics of an ape because he is an ape. It's so funny seeing that because it's like literally saying you aren't what you are. It's wild.
Teaching young ones that they evolved from primates will cause confusion in their lives.
No, it won't. You're the ones causing confusion because you're conflating actual reality, trying to deny what is obvious because it doesn't match with your favorite storybook. Bible's a load of shit, just like you.
It makes certain people feel subhuman when you tell them that they're nothing more than an evolved rat. But telling a child,
What you trying to say about rats? Fucking love rats. They're smart as hell. Rats are fucking amazing. If you haven't had the chance to have pet rats, and you feel so inclined, definitely do it. Definitely get at least 2, though. They are very social creatures, and they like to have a companion. They only live a couple of years, though, so it's going to be pretty heartbreaking just as soon as they start really getting, you get used to them, they get used to you, for things to go south like they do. I miss all my rats. But, yeah, back on the point of Matt Powell. I mean, if you talk down and belittle somebody, you can do some damage saying, oh, you're just an evolved ape. It's like, you can say it in a way that's horrible, but you can also say it in a way like, you're connected. These are your cousins. And you're connected to everything else that's alive somewhere down the line. And isn't it incredible? Because it's a really wild thought to think that the plants on my desk right here, my one surviving pet rat, the cats in the house, birds outside, you go back far enough and there's a distinctive common ancestor. It's fucking wild. It goes back for fucking ever, depending on the particular evolutionary lineage of the thing, way further distance from plants than, let's say, the rats and such, but still. It's an incredible thought, and it's a shame that these people lose out on the magic of that for Magic Sky Daddy, Dustman, Rib Woman, which can equally be used to treat somebody horribly, and indeed, or cause damage, and indeed is, because one whole principle of the Bible is that humans are worthless. This life is worthless. It's pretty fucking horrible if you ask me.
that God loves them and that they were created in His image will help them to thrive.
Also teaching kids to hate and kill others as your enemies. Totes Okay by JC, exactly. Him trying to hide early baldness. Maybe, I don't know. I can't quite see what's up with his hair. It just doesn't look good. But I'm sure y'all are, you see something that, yeah, I don't. It's definitely weird. I'll say that much.
And to succeed in life. Alright, so now he's going to try to give us some evidence for evolution. And so he's going to rattle off a few things that he considers to be facts.
Yeah, are you going to give us evidence for your Godwood? For any Godwood? I'm going to say it like that, Godwood. Come on, put up or shut up, Matt. Tired of all this.
Let's check them out. Let's debunk them one at a time.
Here are these
Let's debunk them one at a time.
ancient dinosaur bones or fossils.
Okay, so right off the bat, he mentions dinosaurs. Well, dinosaur fossils actually show us that they died recently because
Oh, here we go. Get your liquor of choice ready because he's going to bring up soft tissue.
find dinosaur blood cells that could not have lasted for millions of years. If you
No, we don't. Mary Schweitzer has explained this in explicit detail on what was actually found and how these materials were softened and why they were preserved in a state where they could at least be softened. It wasn't blood cells. Schweitzer is also sick and fucking tired of creationists using her science to try to support the young earth bullshit, which she no longer accepts, partly because of her discovering this. Because the woman was well educated enough to not only be able to do the science, but also to be able to understand its explicit implications and not try to meander around it, not try to make it fit with her preconceived notions. She was an honest enough person to come to the conclusion that obviously the world can't be young. Now she still wants to believe, and hell, be a creationist of some variety. Okay, that's good for her. No hate. But for you idiots to keep doing this, it's a little thing, but it shows you have no fucking respect for people's wishes. No respect for the individual. But you treat it like we're the ones who don't care. Because we might make fun of y'all. You demand it in the way you act. But what has Schweitzer done, yet provide a bit of fascinating insight into the biological chemistry of a creature that's been gone from this planet for 66 million years.
Put some material that's biodegradable inside of an airtight jar, and then put that airtight jar in another airtight jar.
I think Matt can read. Well, he reads the Bible. And yeah, he didn't let Bill finish his point. Same thing Hovind does. They never let anyone actually get anywhere in their statements. Now, one could accuse us of doing that too, but it's like, it tends to follow, and their talking points are so particular that it's easy to just rip into it and be right.
And in another airtight,
right as in take a guess and just nail exactly what they're going to say.
jar, it doesn't matter how many times you seal something that's bioorganic. It's still going to degrade, it's still going to deteriorate. That's what we know for a fact. Those are laws of science. We find dinosaur blood cells, we find nerve cells, we find DNA from dinosaurs, histones, keratin.
And if you read the actual papers, or just the summaries of the papers, or even just Wikipedia summaries of the actual research, you'll find it's not what he's making it out to be. If there's even any meat on these bones, no pun intended, and it's not just outright bullshit. I don't know, because dinosaurs are cool, but I don't spend my time studying this stuff to that big of a degree. I've got more important things to do, like play Guild Wars. There we go. I went an hour and like 40 minutes without bringing up Guild Wars. Give me a cookie. That deserves a super chat.
Skin pigments? The list goes on and on. In fact, there are 16 types.
Yep, golden rule. If they want to treat us without respect, we're going to do it in kind. Exactly.
Of bioorganic materials that are found in dinosaur bones. They died out recently. Finding bioorganic materials in their graves suggests that they died in the recent past, not in the...
I just want to point out the irony that they can go with, oh yeah, this biological material wouldn't have lasted because science says it wouldn't have lasted, but when it comes to things like the speed of light, radioactive decay, etc., oh well, that could have just changed. Couldn't biological materials' longevity have changed? Huh. Got 'em.
The distant past.
Here is radioactivity.
So what he's referring to here is radiometric rock dating. And what I find interesting is we've never been able to accurately date a rock that we know the age of. For example, we've seen volcanoes erupt.
Does that statement even make sense? We've never been able to date a rock that we know the age of. I mean, I know what he's saying, the lie he's making, but grammatically, does that even actually work?
We've seen the lava flow down the side of these mountains. The lava then turns into igneous rock. Those rocks are young, but what I find interesting is that when you send in rocks to be radiometrically tested to see how old they are, these labs will send back results indicating that these rocks formed millions of years ago.
Because y'all are being fucking dishonest and sending in these things without any commentary on when they actually were. And these groups are doing dating methods that have maximum and minimal values. And because the samples are from a period exceeding what should be dated, via probably the wrong methods any damn way, knowing you guys, you're going to get results that are pegged one way or the other. It's just your dishonesty showing. Just straight up. This is well explained by people who do these dating. They're tired of creationists sending in random rocks, being like, hey, date this, and it's a damn pebble off the street, and you're trying to get it argon dated for, which is good for millions of years and not, 2 week ago material.
It's ludicrous.
And yeah, lava isn't new rock.
Radiometric isotopes can be created in a lab, and the next day, they date as millions of years old. So is radiometric dating reliable? Can it be used to date the age of the Earth?
Yeah, when used properly, which is something you idiots aren't doing. And I can only presume that it's intentional given how often you've been told that you're doing it wrong. By the people you're sending this shit to. Who are really, really tired of having their labs, their companies, and their names attached to your fantasy bullshit.
Think about that. The radiometric isotopes that we find in rocks suppose.
Thank you, Regios, exactly. Couldn't correctly date a rock. Date a rock, know the date. Or when, using method not intended to date under 2 million year samples. Stacy! Hey, quit attempting to date way too young, Christians. Oh! Oh, yeah. Seriously, stop doing that. You're all fucking freaks. Not you guys in the chat or you watching the video. You're awesome. I mean these weirdos. It's Matt Powell and stuff. And it's got Professor Peel in the background. It's appealing to the kids. I stayed at DAL.
Supposedly indicate how old the rocks are. Well, if you're creating brand new ones and they're dating as millions of years old, the following day, just after you created them, is it a rational assumption to make that rocks that contain these same isotopes can be dated accurately using radiometric dating processes?
But guys, some book says a thing, and that's absolute fact. And if you don't like it, you're going to be punished for eternity.
Absolutely not. It has a 0% success rate. Like I said, rocks of known age, that we know the ages of, have never been accurately dated by radiometric dating processes. And that's a fact. I've got a lot of sources that can back that up as well.
Here are distant
And I've got a middle finger for you, because you're a dishonest piece of shit.
stars that are just like our star, but that are at a different point in their life cycle.
Yeah, distant starlight isn't an issue. The speed of light is not constant. We can't...
See what I said earlier? He's talking about organic decay as if it's constant, but there he goes, bringing up the speed of light. And he's probably going to bring up the thing about them adjusting the group velocity versus phase velocity. And you get into the dynamics of photons, it gets complicated, but it's just super complicated. You look it up, but basically what he tries to say here is, of course, complete bullshit. You can't speed up or slow down light in a given medium. It's going to travel at the speed it does through whatever medium it's traveling through.
Measure a specific rate of how long it takes for light to travel. It can change depending on certain environmental factors.
The idea of deep time, of this billions of years, explains so much of the world around us. If you try to ignore that, your worldview just becomes crazy. It's just untenable, self-inconsistent.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Matt Powell to bring up the luminiferous ether. That'd be fun.
He asserts here that deep time explains so much of the world around us. Deep time
Also probably believes in phlogiston.
explains nothing, because if you look at the universe, everything is winding down. Earth is slowing down in its rotation. The moon is getting farther away from our planet. The sun is burning down. Our solar system...
Stars don't burn, you fucking morons. God, I almost wanted to drop the R word there, but I'm being very good about not saying that this stream. You're an absolute fucking idiot who comprehends jack diddly shit. Not to mention the math on the Earth slowing down and the moon receding away does not say what you think it says. You dishonest piece of shit.
has not existed for millions of years. That is a lie. Deep time does not explain anything.
And
Deep time does not explain anything. The Bible doesn't explain anything, you fucking moron.
say to the grown-ups, if you want to deny evolution and live in your in your world that's completely inconsistent with everything we observe in the universe.
Man, Bill Nye wanted so bad to just say, like, fairy tale world, your delusions. He wanted to be rougher than he had to be for that. Props to him for not saying what he honestly thought. And you know, I'm gonna let you in on something. I didn't watch Bill Nye growing up. I wasn't that big of a fan. It's not that it was bad, and when we would watch it in school, I would, but I had never did tune to it willingly. I did, however, watch a fuck ton of Beekman's World growing up, which might explain a lot. Beekman's World was fucking awesome. Not that Bill Nye wasn't, but I just never did watch it. But dude's cool as a communicator. I like him.
It's fine. But don't make your kids do it, because we need them. We need scientifically literate voters and taxpayers for the future. We need people that can, we need engineers that can build stuff, solve problems.
Well, that I can.
Yeah, we definitely need scientifically literate people. Which this clown on screen is not one. And it's not saying that, like, bringing up the engineer example as Nye just did, which Matt's going to agree with, that a religious person can't be an engineer. That a religious person can't be a good scientist. They certainly can, and there's plenty that are. However, when you reach that level of outright denying reality, the volume of facts you have, the volume of facts you have to ignore, Howard, is so massive and so damning to actually being able to do proper science that it taints all the work you can possibly do. And the only way to succeed if you try to keep both consistent is to lie about one or the other. And the thing is, religion's already a lie. So, what are you going to pick then?
I agree with. We need scientifically literate voters and taxpayers. However, evolution is anti-science propaganda.
It's only the most substantiated theory in all of science. It's one of the most understood principles. Has been as proven as it can possibly be in science without being explicitly mathematically defined proof. Yeah. I mean, it's fucking weird to think that the computers, be it a phone, a laptop, a desktop, or whatever, fucking IBM mainframe, the computers you're using to watch my stream, you the audience right now, and hear my voice, the science behind them is less understood than evolution. And yet these things work. Some of the time. Just mind-boggling. But beautiful at the same time.
People really think that we're evolving? Just look at the human genome, what's happening. Look at cancer rates, autism rates, everything that we don't want.
Autism rates going up. Well, you know, there could be some factors that are influencing it, but it's almost as if we're actually catching it better and actually properly diagnosing it when we detect it. Because I was never properly diagnosed. I still need to actually get that checked out and verified, one way or the other. But I ain't had the time or the money. Because America's healthcare system is fucked. We're lucky finally got to handling depression/bipolar issue. Which again, genetic traits. I was halfway dead when I was born, so, you know, 'tis what it is. But you're going to bring up these things, cancer rates and all that, and stuff where environmental factors do play a role, but we're also detecting things better. And even if those numbers are up, like with cancer, it doesn't automatically mean everything's just getting magically worse, and that it's just a downward spiral forever. You know, we used to have a thing called polio. Attacks muscles. See, the problem with polio was it'd start by just weakening like your leg or hand or something, but it would hit the whole muscular system. And eventually, that fucking thing hit your diaphragm. You know what happens when your diaphragm, you can no longer operate it, when those muscles have basically atrophied? You can't breathe. You die. That's why people were in iron lungs. You know what stopped polio from being the nightmare that it was? Vaccination. You and I grew up not having to worry about polio. I'm sure most of the people in my audience, very sure, most if not all, didn't have to worry about polio. Kent's generation did. And then the vaccine came in the 60s. And it pretty much went away. We found a problem and we found a solution to it. And for things like cancer, bit of a different problem. But we also had a fuck ton of cancer back when smoking was common. Now it's more frowned upon, and those rates have gotten better. But then things like autism and the like, we're finally catching this thing that's been with us for our entire existence. Humans have always had little weird bents of being autistic. It's like the statistic about people who are left-handed. As soon as being left-handed became accepted and they stopped trying to force people not to be, the rates started rising and then capped out at 10%, which is what the actual rate of left-handedness in Homo sapien is. 1 out of every 10 is a lefty. All depends on how you're measuring the statistics and what other factors are involved. But you want to just say, oh, everything's winding down, everything's going corrupting, everything's falling, which of course is more of their evil ass opinion. Their way of looking at everything, where everything's just horrible. Gotta get with God, cause everything sucks. The world sucks. They're so negative. They want to treat us like the bad ones.
As far as diseases are increasing worldwide in human populations. How does that help the process of evolution to move forward and for us to evolve into stronger organisms? Look at what happened in World War II. You think evolution...
Here we go. 5 minutes, 53 seconds in. We got Godwin's Law broken again.
Makes a society better? Makes us more...
Can these people seriously not bring up Hitler? Just seriously, can they not bring up Hitler? Just once, I'd like to see them seriously get to a point where they would and not bring up bad Austrian guy.
Intelligent? The Hitler youth were being indoctrinated with evolution, and Hitler believed in evolution so much. The Hitler youth were being indoctrinated with evolution. Hitler believed in evolution so much that he started to think that the German race was the most evolved. And in Hitler's own words, he said that his goal was to preserve the most valuable racial elements and elevate them to a dominant position. He believed in survival of the fittest so much, and in Charlie Darwin's false religion so much, that he murdered millions of people, and he allowed the medical establishment
Ah, damn it. Thanks. Yeah, muted. Just wonder how many, what was I trying to say? Damn it. Having that flub, screwed me up. Wonder how many people, were, killed in the Crusades and the like because they didn't believe in the right God or believe in the right God the right way. I really wonder that myself. Like, what percentage of the global population was killed, because that's the factor you really got to look at. That's the value, is the actual percentage of the population. As it may not seem like that big of a number for something that may have happened, 5,000 years or 500 years ago. But then when you look at, but that was, let's just say random, 1/5 of the world population, like the amount that died in the plague, was a huge chunk of the world's population, like a quarter of all Europeans. That's a hell of a lot of people right there. Now, it might have only been, a few million or something, but when you look at the population at the time, it was a high percentage of penetration.
Establishment, a group of evolutionists, to do experiments on the Jewish people. And they would strap men, women, and children down on tables. And they would inject blue dye into their eyes to try to get them to evolve.
Well, I just wonder how long I was muted there, honestly. Hopefully it was just a second, but I'm using the mute on my microphone, so I've used this button judiciously over the past few weeks, waiting for it to wear out. But sometimes you get to a point where you tap and it doesn't trip or vice versa, and it's just boy.
Faster. This really happened. Darwinian evolution is dangerous. It is.
It's what happens when you're streaming for 2 hours and watching shit like this and getting upset because some fucker wants to bring up Columbine.
Asserts that some of us.
Not to say that Nazis don't upset me, but Columbine hits a little. It feels personal.
Humans are more evolved than other humans. Our world will become worse and worse as more and more people believe in evolution.
And then leave a little link to random bullshit, because I'm Matty Powell, and that's what I do, because this is what I obsess over. This is all I do. This is my entire life. That and, yelling at people who support my church, because I'm just a horrible fucking person. You will go to hell. I'm Matt Powell. You'll go to hell. Over. Just over 2 or 3 pauses. Okay. Well, hopefully it's nothing too crazy. Hopefully I didn't say anything too important there. But yeah. I'm gonna say that's the stream. Definitely had fun. Was planning for 1 hour, went to 2. Got a little dark there in the middle, but hey, that's why we do these things as a group. Just as always, want to thank everyone for being here. It was an awesome time. Like I said, had fun. Hope y'all did as well. What else? The good thing about Matt Powell rejecting evolution, he doesn't question why his kids don't look like him. Oh, that's a burn. I love it. But yeah, of course, hope y'all enjoyed. Looks like the chat worked out pretty well, because now I'm looking at the broadcast screen and it's still looking pretty nice. So yeah, that being said, you are all fucking awesome. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my day, play some Guild Wars. I'll be in Discord if anyone wants to chat. You got links down below if anyone's inclined for image boards or BBS stuff or other kind of weird shenanigans. And yeah, later everyone.